You've probably heard it 100 times. Just buy VOO and hold. And honestly, that's not bad advice. But here's the problem nobody talks about. While you were sitting in VOO earning a solid 15% per year, someone else was quietly compounding at 34% per year in a single ETF over a full decade. We're not talking about a lucky crypto bet. We're not talking about picking individual stocks. We're talking about a publicly traded, regulated ETF that averaged over 34% annually for 10 years straight, including the crash year of 2022. So the question isn't whether VOO is good. The question is, are you leaving serious money on the table without knowing it? In this video, I'm going to rank 9 of the best performing ETFs of the last decade, from lowest to highest return. For each one, I'll show you exactly what it holds, what it returned, what makes it structurally unique, and most importantly, who it's actually built for. Because the best ETF isn't always the one with the highest number, it's the one that fits your portfolio. Let's be real about what most investors do. They pick 1 or 2 ETFs, throw money in, and hope for the best. The average retail investor earns somewhere between 6 and 8% per year after fees, taxes, and emotional selling at the wrong time. Here's what that looks like in real numbers. You invest $500 a month for 10 years at 7% average return. You end up with roughly $86,000. Now run that same $500 a month at 15% return. You're looking at $138,000. At 23%, you're over $220,000. Same discipline, same money, completely different outcome, just because of which ETF you chose. That gap is the entire point of this video. Now, before we get into the rankings, one rule: past performance does not equal future performance. I'll say it once and mean it. These returns are historical. They show us patterns, consistency, and what these funds are structurally designed to do. But no one can guarantee the next 10 years look identical. What history can tell us is this: which funds held up in crashes, which recovered fast, and which ones have real structural advantages baked into their design, not just luck. That's what we're looking for. Consistent systems, not one-hit wonders. Let's count them down. 9 ETFs, ranked lowest to highest. Number 9, VXUS, Vanguard Total International Stock ETF. Think of VXUS as owning everything except America. Most US investors put 100% of their money into US stocks without even realizing it. But the rest of the world represents roughly 40% of global economic output. VXUS captures all of it, over 8,700 companies across Europe, Asia, Latin America, and emerging markets like India and Brazil. The top holdings aren't household names for most Americans, but they're dominant players in their industries. Taiwan Semiconductor, the company that manufactures chips for Apple, Nvidia, and AMD. Samsung, ASML, the only company in the world that makes the machines needed to produce cutting-edge chips. Tencent, the largest tech company in China. At a fee of just 0.05% on $133 billion in assets, VXUS is one of the cheapest ways to own the world outside the US. In 2025 alone, it was up over 30%. Now, is it the highest returning ETF on this list? No. And here's why you should still care. The US market has dominated the last decade, but zoom out to the full history of global markets. There have been long stretches where Europe, Asia, or emerging markets led. VXUS is insurance against American exceptionalism having a bad decade. If US markets stall while the rest of the world accelerates, this is what carries you. It's not about chasing returns. It's about not having all your eggs in one country's basket. Number 8, VT, Vanguard Total World Stock ETF. If VXUS is everything except America, VT is literally everything, US and international combined in a single fund. Over 10,000 stocks across 49 countries, one ticker, one fee, one decision. The philosophy behind VT is elegant in its simplicity. Own the entire global economy proportional to how much each company is worth. You never have to decide how much US exposure versus international exposure to hold. The market decides that for you automatically. As US companies grow, their weight in VT grows. If Europe surges, it rebalances naturally. The top holdings look familiar. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. That's because even in a global fund, the biggest companies in the world are mostly American. Roughly 60% of VT is still US stocks, so it's more diversified than a pure US fund, but perhaps less internationally balanced than the name implies. But here's why VT earns its place on this list. It delivered roughly 12% average annual return over the last decade at a fee of just 0.06%, while giving you exposure to 10,000 companies across 49 countries. For a single fund, that's remarkable cost efficiency. For investors who just want to own the global economy and forget about it, VT is the cleanest possible expression of that strategy. Number 7. SCHD, Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. Here's where it gets interesting, and this one surprises people every single time. SCHD is fundamentally different from every other ETF on this list because it pays you while you hold it. It targets 100 US companies that have a long, consistent track record of paying and growing their dividends. Current yield sits around 3.4%, paid every quarter. The companies inside SCHD are mature, cash-generating businesses: Chevron, ConocoPhillips, Merck, Verizon, not flashy growth stocks, the kind of companies that have been writing checks to shareholders for decades and have the financial strength to keep doing it. Now, here's what most people miss. SCHD delivered a 12.31% average annual total return over the last decade while being one of the lowest volatility funds on this entire list. In the brutal 2022 bear market, when QQQ dropped over 32%, SCHD fell only about 3%. That resilience isn't an accident. It's structural, because profitable, dividend-paying companies have actual cash flows backing up their valuations. Think about what you're actually getting here. Cash flow every quarter, lower volatility, and over 12% per year for 10 years. The average investor thinks boring dividend fund and moves on. The smart investor looks at that combination and says that sounds like exactly what I want in a core portfolio position. Most investors chase high-octane growth and forget that boring and consistent builds real wealth. Number 6. VTI, Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. VTI doesn't pick favorites. It owns everything. Every publicly traded company in America. Not just the top 500, not just large caps, every size, every sector, every corner of the US economy. About 3,500 stocks in total. The top holdings look identical to VOO, NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, because large caps dominate the market by weight. But VTI also gives you meaningful exposure to mid-sized and smaller companies that haven't yet earned their way into the S&P 500, companies that could be tomorrow's mega caps. At 0.03% in fees on nearly $580 billion in assets, VTI is one of the most cost-efficient investments ever created. Warren Buffett has said on multiple occasions that a low-cost index fund tracking the total US market is the right vehicle for most ordinary investors. VTI is exactly that instrument. Now, it did trail VOO slightly over the last decade, returning 14.25% annually versus VOO's 14.95%. And here's the reason. Small and mid-cap stocks underperformed large caps during this stretch, but in decades where smaller companies lead, like the 2000s, VTI's broader exposure flips that result in its favor. VTI is a staple. It's not exciting, it's not trying to be, it just owns America at the lowest possible cost. Number 5. VOO, Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. The fan favorite, the benchmark that every other investment on this planet gets compared against. VOO tracks the S&P 500, 500 of the largest and most established US companies selected by a committee based on market cap, liquidity, and financial health. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, the names running the global economy. But here's the structural advantage most people skip over, and it's the real reason the S&P 500 has such a strong long-term track record. The index is self-cleaning. Companies that stop performing get removed and replaced with stronger ones. The S&P 500 is not a static list. It's a living, evolving ranking of the most dominant businesses in America. When a company stagnates, it gets cut. When a new force rises, it gets added. You own the winners, automatically, without having to make any decisions yourself. With nearly $880 billion in assets and a fee of 0.03%, VOO returned 14.95% per year over the last decade. That's a combination of returns and cost efficiency that actively managed funds almost never beat consistently. And yet, here's the interesting part. VOO doesn't even crack the top half of this list. Number 4. SPMO, Invesco S&P 500 Momentum ETF. What if you took the S&P 500 great companies, and then filtered it down even further, keeping only the 100 stocks showing the strongest upward price momentum right now? That's exactly what SPMO does, and this is where things get fascinating. The idea behind momentum investing is actually well documented in financial research. Stocks that have been rising tend to continue rising, at least in the short to medium term. Human behavior drives it. Institutional investors pile into winning stocks, creating self-reinforcing price trends. SPMO systematically captures that pattern rather than trying to fight it. Here's the mechanics. SPMO measures price performance over the past 12 months, excluding the most recent month, and then adjusts for each stock's volatility. The result is a portfolio of stocks that have been moving up smoothly and persistently, not just spiking. Current top holdings include Nvidia, Broadcom, Micron, and Alphabet, the companies that the market has been rewarding most aggressively. And here's the key mechanism that makes this more than just owning hot stocks. It rotates twice a year. The stocks that slow down get rotated out. The new leaders rotate in. The fund is constantly upgrading itself toward the current winners. At 0.13% in fees on about $15 billion in assets, SPMO has delivered 18.51% annually over 10 years, consistently beating the S&P 500 by roughly 3.5 percentage points per year. That gap compounds significantly over time. The trade-off you need to understand: momentum can reverse sharply. When markets rotate quickly, like in 2022, SPMO can fall harder than the broader index because it holds the stocks that had previously run up the most. This is not a boring, slow fund. It rewards patience and a strong stomach. QQQ or QQQM, Invesco Nasdaq 100 ETF. Now we're getting into the heavy hitters. QQQ tracks the Nasdaq 100, the 100 largest non-financial companies listed on the Nasdaq exchange. In practice, this means deep concentration in technology and growth. Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, Tesla, Alphabet, the companies rewriting every industry on Earth. Quick note on the two tickers. QQQ and QQQM track the exact same index. The difference is purely structural. QQQ is the original version, built in 1999 as a unit investment trust with a fee of 0.20%. QQQM is the newer version, launched in 2020 with a lower fee of 0.15%, specifically designed for long-term buy and hold investors. Same holdings, same performance. If you're building and holding, QQQM is the smarter choice. And the scale here is staggering. QQQ now manages over $371 billion, making it one of the 5 largest ETFs on the planet. That's not just a popular fund, that's a cornerstone of the global financial system. The 10-year average annual return sits at 20.29%. Now, the trade-off is real and you need to know it. In 2022, QQQ dropped over 32% in a single year. That's nearly twice as deep as VOO's drawdown. The concentration in growth stocks that drives its returns also creates bigger swings in both directions. But here's the argument for holding it long-term. Technology isn't a sector anymore. It's the infrastructure layer of every business on Earth. Healthcare is becoming a software problem. Finance is a software problem. Manufacturing is becoming a software problem. The Nasdaq 100 isn't a bet on tech companies, it's a bet on the companies that run the modern economy, and that's a bet that has compounded at over 20% annually for a decade. Number 2, VGT, Vanguard Information Technology ETF. If QQQ is tech-heavy, VGT is pure, undiluted technology and nothing else. This is the difference most people miss. QQQ holds 100 companies across multiple sectors. Amazon is in there, but Amazon is classified as consumer discretionary, not technology. Meta is in QQQ, but Meta falls under communication services. VGT cuts through all of that. It holds over 300 companies exclusively in information technology, software, hardware, and semiconductors. If it's not directly in the technology sector, it doesn't qualify. The result is a fund laser-focused on NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, and Broadcom, the four pillars of modern computing, alongside hundreds of smaller companies building the digital stack of the future. And the fee, 0.09%, is extraordinary for what you're getting. This is Vanguard's cost advantage in action, one of the most concentrated, highest-performing sector ETFs in the world at a price that barely registers on a $100,000 portfolio. The 10-year average annual return is 23.34%.
Number 1. SMH, Van Eck Semiconductor ETF.
And here it is. If VGT is pure technology, SMH goes one level deeper. It doesn't own all of tech, it owns the companies that build the physical foundation that all technology runs on, the chips. Think about what semiconductors actually are. They are the brain of every single device in the modern world. Every AI model that generates text, images, or code, every data center running cloud computing, every electric vehicle on the road, every medical device, every defense system, they all run on chips. Without semiconductors, none of the technology that defines this era exists at all. SMH holds the 25 largest US-listed semiconductor companies: NVIDIA, Taiwan Semiconductor, Broadcom, ASML. These aren't just good companies, they are the infrastructural choke points of the entire global technology supply chain. At a fee of 0.35% and $46 billion in assets, SMH has delivered something almost incomprehensible: 34.09% average annual return for 10 years. Let that sit for a moment. $10,000 invested in SMH 10 years ago, with dividends reinvested, would be worth over $188,000 today. That's 18x in a single regulated, publicly traded ETF. But, and this matters, SMH is the most volatile fund on this entire list. In 2022, it dropped over 33% in a year. It holds only 25 companies, so when the semiconductor industry has a bad cycle, and it does have cycles, the entire fund feels it at once. This is genuinely not the right core holding for most investors. But for a focused allocation, 10 to 15% of a portfolio held with a long time horizon, the historical case for semiconductors is unlike anything else on this list. And with AI only accelerating chip demand, the structural tailwind behind SMH has arguably never been stronger.